What is going on, everybody? Welcome to podcast Revived, episode number 27. I am your host, as always, Shane Craig, and joining me is the lovely Jessi Craig.
Hello.
For those of you guys, get the sentence I'm trying to say. I'm having a stroke or something. Words, English language. For those of y'all, maybe you don't know what Podcast Revived is, basically what we do here is we go over the last week in different topics that maybe I covered in prior videos. We dig a little bit deeper on those particular topics. We do this show, I was going to say every week, but we didn't miss last week. We had some stuff going on. We weren't able to get a podcast out last week. And then this episode's probably going to come out at a really random time to kind of make up for that. But we do usually do this on Saturdays, and then the audio version on Sundays on your podcast platform of choice. Be sure to leave a like, a rating, whatever, wherever you may be watching or listening. That does help us out quite a bit. So, like I said, we did miss a week. We did miss, we're recording this one on Tuesday the 12th, and so we missed our Saturday mark. So we're going to kind of talk about some of the things from the prior week, and there are a few of them, and plenty of Surface Duo stuff to talk about on this particular episode, which I think will make a lot of you guys and gals happy. So let's start off by addressing the video that I made where I talked about the various issues with the Surface Duo. What did I title that video? I think I titled it, "Dear Microsoft, Fix Surface Duo, Sincerely Your Users." It's sitting at like 2,600 views as of right now, so it's done pretty well. It's starting to level out a little bit, but it's done well. And Jessi, you can attest to this. Going into posting this video, I was actually very nervous. Mm-hmm. I wasn't sure how it would be taken because a lot of people really love Surface Duo, so I didn't want to. There's this line for me of like, I want to be honest. I want to be always honest and give my honest opinions, and that's. But at the same time, like if you do that consistently enough, there will be people who will get mad at you for saying maybe something they don't agree with, and so that was a fear for me. Was like, am I gonna, at the end of the day, I did it anyways. There's a gnat in here and it's driving me crazy. Sorry. At the end of the day, you have to do it because you have to have integrity. But I was a little bit nervous about maybe angering some of the people who are some of my most ardent viewers and being, I didn't want the video to come across like Surface Duo sucks and no one should buy it, but I also didn't want to come across like Surface Duo is perfect and Microsoft did a perfectly great job, because neither one of those is true.
Right. Well, I mean, I think most people who own a Duo are going to have some understanding of what you were talking about. And hopefully the people who want a Duo and have been watching your content are going to know also what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So
I kind of had to go with that assumption. And I mean, for those that maybe don't know, what I did is I went on Twitter and I went on a Facebook group and in another video, and I asked people to comment with issues that they've been experiencing with their Duo, and then I was going to talk about them in a list, kind of say, okay, here's this issue, and then here's a whole bunch of people who commented saying that they had that issue. Because I wanted to kind of raise some awareness and talk about, these are some of the things that are just kind of unacceptable. And what's interesting to me about that is, first off, let's just say this. After doing this, video did fairly well in terms of views, and 155 likes, 98.7% like to dislike ratio. So my concerns were evidently not founded in regards to that. You guys took it exactly how I intended it to be taken. So awesome. Thank you for everybody understanding where I'm coming from. I didn't really have any comments from people saying like, you clearly just don't like the Surface Duo or anything stupid like that. But maybe to take another angle on it, what the strangest thing to me is the comments I have gotten that have been, maybe I would call them dissent, but not really dissent, just a difference of opinion, when I talk about all these issues, the primary issues that I have had have been with the switching screens, being in phone mode and it switching screens on me, being in the camera and it flipping around on me, those sorts of things, just things to do with that kind of stuff. Since removing the bumpers back off of it, they are completely gone. I mean, just gone. So what's been interesting to me is how many people have said to me, yes, I also have had that exact problem and that exact experience when I removed the bumpers. That problem totally fixed itself.
So weird.
And then other people, though, saying, I've had the bumpers on the entire time and I've never had that problem. There's weird inconsistency to it that I can't quite figure out. But I'll say this right now. I don't know if it's because there have been a couple of launcher updates in the last few days. The launcher's acting pretty normal for me. I'm not getting the weird bars in the middle anymore. The orientation stuff is working really well. It's not flipping screen. Like right now, my Duo is behaving tremendously well. And I don't know exactly what to make of that. Maybe it'll stay that way. I hope it stays that way. But right now, it's behaving as well maybe as it has. It seems to be doing very well. I'd love to know if other people in the last few days have experienced that improvement as well. Maybe the launcher, I'm on the beta launcher. Maybe it's been updated a couple times. Maybe something's been fixed. I don't know, but it seems to be doing considerably better than it was before. It's tricky when, to kind of close the loop on what I was talking about earlier. It's tricky when you have a thing that people are fans of and people identify with. Like there are people that, whether it's PlayStation, it's Xbox, it's Nintendo, or it's pick anything. It's a TV show, it's whatever. And you get into that fanboy territory, and we're all prone to do it. Look, if you spent $1,400 on this thing, and some dude and you like it, and some guys tell, and you don't have the problems that he's talking about, it's really easy to then assume they're just wrong and to write them off. Because you're like, well, I haven't had that experience. This guy's an idiot. Why would I listen to this person? So the fact that you guys really weren't like that at all is really cool. I'm really appreciative of that. And I know that we've all had instances. Can you think of anything? We've all done this. Can you think of anything in your life where you've really liked something and then people maybe didn't like it and you almost took it personally? Because I know I've done that.
Yeah, I mean, it's, a lot of games that I've played in the past. Like, if I say I like Tomb Raider, well, it's always about, Uncharted is better and,
right.
Or, what have you. I never enjoyed any of the original Zelda games because I'm not good at them, because I did not play them. But I like the newer ones, and I don't know, that's the only thing I can really think of. I mean, we see it all the time with companies and shows, and just anyone that has an interest, you're going to see that, unfortunately.
Yeah. I've definitely done it before with things, because I've always been the kind of person that I kind of leave the beaten trail a little bit. I was an early adopter of the Palm Pre, WebOS, I've bought a lot of products that were weird niche products that I loved that enough other people didn't love. The Surface Duo, I think, is a great example of that. So you wind up in that position a lot. Like I've read reviews before, like the Ars Technica Surface Duo review was hard to read because this person had an experience that was so wildly different from not only mine but my viewers that a lot of us were like, "What is this guy's problem?" Like, it just seemed angry, seemed spiteful, and you kind of
personal at that point.
Yeah, and you kind of do almost get sucked into being irritated about it, which is unreasonable. That's stupid. That's absolutely stupid. I don't want to go into specifics, but I did have somebody comment on something I said about, I'm being very vague, but I don't want to call anybody out. Someone commented on something that I made something about and asked a question about that thing, and I answered that thing in a very genuine, I wasn't being an asshole. I was just like, "Oh, well, have you considered this?" And their response was very sarcastic, "Well, da-da-da-da-da," basically being that basically saying that my answer was stupid.
Invalid, yeah.
And at that point, I just kind of am like, well, I'm not going to waste any energy on you. Like, I'm just moving, gonna just move on, because that was an actual answer. I was trying to help. So don't take the help. That's fine. I'll just move along. But it has been really cool to see even people that have disagreed with me. I've had people that have posted in the Facebook group and said, I haven't had the experiences that Shane has about this, but I still respect his opinion. And that's really cool. Very, very good to be able to see that. And I also do want to point out that from that video, I did get a response on Twitter from someone who works on the Microsoft launcher. So that is also cool. So someone works on Microsoft launcher saying, hey, I watched your video. Thanks for that. Thanks for, showing some of these things we're working on it. So that was cool as well to get some communication there. I do still have some faith that it's going to get better. It's going to improve. January update, should be in the next 2 weeks or so. So definitely some hope that it's going to get better. Let's switch gears slightly. And I wanted to talk about the little leather case thing, because I didn't talk about it for very long, but I kind of wanted to expound upon it. You got to kind of, give a second opinion. You got to hold this thing. Yeah. What did you think of the build quality of it? Like, it's...
It feels really nice. I like, isn't that one also like, didn't they send you one that was like a faux leather? Or is that one like...
This one is... Yeah, this is all that they sent me. It's just a standard leather, I assume it's leather.
I mean, I like it. I don't know that I'll see you using it that much. Like, I'm not sure how much I would use it. If I had a phone like that, which is, that would be funny, first of all, because I don't think it's a phone for me. But if I did, I would use that if I were going to, like, put it in my purse or my backpack or something like that.
Right.
So that it wouldn't, like, move around or my keys wouldn't scratch it. It's a little protective.
Right.
But it's pretty nice. I like how it fits in there. It looks good. But I don't know exactly how useful it's going to be for you right now.
Yeah, I think for me the use case would be like if when we go on like a hike, I usually have like a little bag over my shoulder. A little pouch. And so like for me, like maybe Duo goes in that and then in the pouch, and then maybe I carry a Pixel or a OnePlus phone or something that's got a better camera to take pictures if we're out on the hike somewhere. Maybe that would be the use case for me. Definitely not something that I could see anybody using if the Duo is their primary device.
Right. Yeah.
Because it just doesn't make sense at that point, because you're gonna be pulling it in and out over and over and over.
I think it'd be pretty useful if they had like a little strap that goes over the top so that it doesn't slide out if it's in a bag or something. That might be kind of nice.
It actually, like, it's pretty snug in there. I'm glad you said that, because that's something I don't really talk about. But like, it's
not bad.
It's not terrible. Like, you kind of have to give it a tug, and I think part of that is because of the volume and power buttons. They actually like, I probably can't get this, but come on. Yeah. Impossible to see that, but the power button and the volume buttons kind of clip against the edge. It's
gonna slow it down a little bit.
They slow it down. If those weren't there, it probably would fall out more easily. But it's well made. It's well constructed. I'm still hoping to get their actual like case from them, the one that actually just attaches to the Duo. I've seen pictures. Awesome. I've seen pictures where it won't let you fold your phone back past about there, which is maybe a problem. But I'm still hoping to get that from them as well, and maybe talk about it in a video. But overall, I think, for what it is, if you want a really premium pouch and the Duo isn't your daily driver, isn't your full-time phone, it's probably a pretty good.
Yeah.
Probably a pretty
good. And it looks really slick with the rest of your notebooks and your Chromebooks and what have you. So. Yeah,
it's definitely a premium looking device. And then the other cool thing that I talked about and got to do over the last week was the Duo dock thing, which is really cool. And I've actually got another video coming out kind of in tandem with the Duo dock, which I don't think I'm going to spoil here. But what I will do is I'll hold this up and I'll let you just kind of imagine, what that might be like. But that video's coming.
I actually love that thing right there.
What, the dock?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I would like to have one just for my phone, which would, at this point, my phone, it would be silly to have one, but I like how it looks. It's got a really cute design on it.
Yeah, like I actually really enjoy the idea of it in general because there's so many little things that I think that they got correct with this thing that would be really easy to screw up. And like one of them, because it's not adjustable, obviously. So like the angle that it sits at is a big part of it. I'm taking the magnetic part out because this is not the one I use. But the angle that it sits at is one piece of it, and it sits at a really good angle. If it's too far back, it's annoying. If it's too straight up, you can't really interact with it. Well, I feel like they got that really, really right. And then the depth of the groove that it sits in, if it's too shallow, it's going to put pressure on the USB-C port. If it is too deep, well, then you're going to start obscuring part of the screen. So I feel like they got all of these things pretty damn correct. I feel like overall, they did a really good job with it. And I'm really enjoying it. Like, I like coming into my studio here, and I'm keeping it right here next to me. So I'll come into the studio, and you can just drop it in the dock, and there it is. It's charging, and it's fast charging, and it looks good. So if I'm here and I want to look over and interact with my Duo, I can just look over here, and it's right there, easy for me to interact with, and it's a solid, well thought out product. You can keep your Surface Pen in there, and actually the angle that it's at to write on it with the pen is also pretty good. So they just did a really good job constructing this thing.
I know you love the matte black one, but you couldn't see it when you hold it up, but there's like little specks in there, and it reminds me of something, and I don't know what it reminds me of, but I love that. Like, I think that is so cute. I don't know why. It just looks really nice to me.
Yeah, it does. That little piece there.
It has like a texture to it almost.
This little piece here is another thing that, if you use the bumper, that side is deeper to accommodate the bumper. And if you don't use the bumper, you just slide this in there, and then that fills up that space. Just a lot of thoughtfulness that's gone into it. I hope that from the video, I got a response from the guys, and they said that they got a lot of interest from that video. So I'm hopeful that it maybe sold some of them for them. I think it's at like 1,100 views now. So maybe that, I guess one thing I could do to kind of check that out, I did put a link to their website in there. So I guess one thing I could do is I could go to their website and see how many views the video on their website had, because I saw how many it had before. So let's see how many views it has now. Did I help at all? A few more. Probably helped a little bit. Hopefully it got them some orders. That would be nice, because it's a cool thing. It's a cool community building thing. And this goes back
definitely.
this goes back to before, talking about the reaction to, I make a video being very critical of a device that all these people really like and how they took that. There's a community, I feel, that has grown around the Duo that is very positive. And I think in the early days, there was some criticism from people saying, anytime a community gets too fervent, they stop being willing to recognize faults in things. And I don't think that we're there. I think that maybe in the early days, there were some people that were like that, but I think most people now seem to be pretty willing to admit that there are flaws with the Duo, and they're willing to criticize it or to hear criticism about it, so long as it's coming from someone that they don't think is just shitting on the device.
Right, because there's totally a difference there.
There's a huge difference there, absolutely. And I think that is the difference. I think that people get so sick of hearing, like, it's the
giant fail and
right. Yeah, I think so many of these reviews came out, and people tried it for a week, didn't see it through, and just and look. I've had people, comment and say things like, "Oh, these big YouTube reviewers, they're dishonest. They suck because they didn't check back in later with the Duo to they just put out their review and it wasn't great and it's better now and whatever." These guys don't have time to come back and check out the Duo. For one, it's a niche. It's a small group of us. We're happy with it. We love it, but we're not numerous. There's not, a million of us that are like, trust me, I know what my views are. There aren't that many of us, in the thousands. So, someone like MKBHD, he ain't gonna come back and check in on the Duo. Why the fuck would he do that? He's got 15 other videos to make that will do better. Why would he do that? So I don't think it's a dishonesty thing. I think it's more of just the way that the world kind of works. But it leaves a niche for me, and that's good. And I can fill that niche, and I can make these videos and kind of go about it that way. And I think that the fact that that's when you've got these big YouTubers, but then you need that middle ground, people that can dig a little bit deeper. And I think that that's why the response has been the way that it's been.
It's definitely a very small community, but it's a cool one. Just seeing people making these accessories for it. I mean, with most mainstream phones, if you were making accessories for it, you'd be buried between all the competition. There are not that many accessories for this phone or media device, whatever you want to call it. That dock right there and the sleeve. I mean, those are some pretty cool things that we've seen so far, and I can't wait. Even though I don't use the phone, I can't wait to see the new stuff that you guys are coming up with.
Yeah, it's definitely cool to see. As I've talked about on the News Radar video a couple times now, we're in a you go through I think October's big. There's several months that are really big for tech news, and then you get closer to January, and there's not much. CES is going on right now, but it's just starting. So it's been really difficult to find news topics worth talking about for the last, really 2 weeks or so. It's been really, it's been a lot of just little things, Exynos 2100's announced. That's something, it's not, but there's not really much to talk about. So I don't think we've got a long podcast to deliver today. It'll kind of probably just going to be a pretty short thing here. But hey, we got something out after we missed our regular one. Hopefully things start picking up again. I'd love to see news get flowing again. Maybe we'll have a January update to talk about here soon. But for now, I think I'm just going to wrap it up here and give you something rather than nothing. And hopefully we'll have time later in the week to do another one and talk about, some other things going on. We'll come up with a formula to talk about something. Maybe you guys can suggest some topics down there in the comments, and we'll get back on a regular schedule. For those wondering, I mentioned Jessi had a doctor's appointment. That's why we missed it. She's fine. Everything's okay, as you can see.
Surgery on my arm, so if anybody sees that, that's what that is. That's my healing scar.
Yeah.
Don't freak out. No one stabbed me except for the doctor.
We paid her for that, so it's okay.
Yeah, it's all good.
we wanted that to happen, apparently. So, yeah, we'll get back on a regular schedule here shortly. But I guess for now, it's going to bring us to the end of the episode. So you guys can head over to scaryifliteral.com for links to all the social media stuff, Twitter, etc. I'm toying with the idea of maybe launching a Patreon. I don't know. We've started a Discord server. So there's a link to that in the description of most videos now. And in this one, so if you want to join the Discord server, that would be a cool thing to do as well. Let's see, we're up to 30 people on that after a couple of days. So we're getting that rolling as well. So that's cool. Let me guys know what you think about a Patreon. Obviously, you can hit the join button on YouTube, and that's $2 a month, and that goes to me. How many of you guys would, if there was a Patreon, would be willing to do something there? Because that would also really, like anything that we get from this is really beneficial, because it's, just so you guys know, this has not become a very profitable thing yet. Trying to make this thing work as best I can, but stay patient, all that good stuff. How many of you guys, if Patreon was an option, would be willing to look at something like Patreon? Let me know about that in the comments down there if you have any thoughts on that. So yeah, thank you for joining me today, Jessi. My name is Shane. This was Podcast Revived, and until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.